So glad to be back and so glad that you are all here with me again today. Great to see you. Please say hello and where you are streaming in from. It's great to be back and let's talk about some topics today, some of which you've heard a little bit about before, but I've got some new things to talk about that are actually quite shocking. Yes, we're talking about fake apples, fake apples. This is a problem, okay? We're all going to talk about all of that as well as what's happening with tick season. So tick season is here and we have a natural bug repellent spray. I'm going to be sharing this recipe with you, which you're going to love. Now, does anybody know what I'm holding up here? If you've watched the show before, you know exactly what I'm going to be revealing here. Yeah, everybody knows. Say hello. Hello in Thailand. Direct, nice to see you. Hello in Beaumont, California. Great to have you here. Fremont, Nebraska is in the house. Start the buzz. Hello, nice to see you. And Seema from Pakistan, nice to have you here. Thank you. In Michigan, Manitoba, Paso Robles. Thank you so much. Someone's here. Viola from Poland. Hello. North Carolina, Cajun Girl 17 is here, or 7. Nice to have you here. Okay, do you know what I'm talking about here? Yeah, we're talking parasites. I've got some parasite detox tips, my 9 tips to get rid of parasites and candida. We will be talking about all these gross little critters that can be in your gut, of course. We're talking about fixing that microbiome, getting that microbiome healthy. I also have my scoliosis tips for you today, which was something that a lot of my viewers were asking about scoliosis. So that's something that I'm going to talk about, things that you haven't heard, as well as for your skin. So things that your dermatologist will never tell you in terms of beauty and anti-aging. We're going to go through those tips as well, which you will love. Thank you so much, Ava, for tuning in. Lorraine is here from Florida, and the Natural Family is here from Virginia. Thank you for all the love coming in and all those hearts. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So great to have you here. And if you missed our last episodes, that was a couple weeks ago, we talked about bone health. We talked about fish oil and what to look for. We made that beautiful hair mask. We talked about 10 best foods for your thyroid gland. And of course, we talked about leptin and insulin resistance, balancing your blood glucose levels. So please check out that previous show. If you did miss it, all of the shows do exist in long form video. You can search them up and just look up the topics. Just look up my name, Dr. Janine Bowring. And hey, if you're here for the first time today, welcome on in. I am Dr. Janine, naturopathic doctor. We talk all things natural here at the Dr. Janine Show. And thank you for tuning in and spending some time with me this morning. And of course, we do this every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So please say hello. Make sure you hit that follow button, that you are subscribed as well. Now let's talk about those apples, hey? So did you know that the way that these apples, unfortunately, if you're purchasing them in the grocery store, they have some serious issues with toxicity that you wouldn't have even realized. We're also going to be talking about some fat loss today. That is going to come up. I forgot to mention that in the beginning, okay? So a free thing that you can do, everybody has access to help burn body fat, okay? So we will be talking about that. Now, we always know, and you've probably heard, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. So apples are super, super healthy in their natural state. We know that. Unfortunately, most of them are heavily sprayed. And we know with herbicides, take a look at the screen behind me, pesticides. Did you also know that they are cleaned with bleach to kill off bacteria? Yeah. So the ones that you're purchasing in the grocery store, most times are going to be treated with these chemicals, and they're often irradiated, but also then recovered with wax. So here's the interesting thing. In their natural state, apples actually have their own wax on the outside. That's why if you actually go to the orchard, to an organic orchard, they haven't been sprayed, and they have a bit of a waxy coating, and then you sort of rub it on your pants, on your jacket, on your shirt, and then it becomes nice and shiny. Well, the apples do have their own natural wax, but what they do, unfortunately, is that is sometimes removed in all of this processing that's done, so the apples lose their natural wax, but that has an antifungal effect, and this is why now they're using something like propylene and some other chemicals to actually put the wax, a fake wax, and usually from the petroleum industry, that fake wax back onto the apples. So often in the grocery store, you can sort of see that they all look like what I have here. Too perfect? Well, that is always an indication that maybe it's not the healthiest apple. So of course, when you see apples that you either grow yourself on a natural tree, This is something that you may realize if you go to the orchard that they've got holes, they've got dents, they've got bird bites, they've got, you're not going to necessarily take those ones, but this is something that is going to indicate that it's actually a healthier apple, and it will have its own natural waxy coating, and that's a good thing, okay? So just so that you're aware if you can grow your own apples, that's going to be much healthier for you. If you can get from a locally, grown farm and go to the farmer and find a farmer's market and actually get natural organic apples, that's going to be much healthier for you. Okay, so how many people knew that about apples? Put some apple emojis in the comments. Nice to have you here, and don't forget this is a very interactive show. So today we're going to go through some quiz questions. You have the ability to win a prize, and that's from our great sponsors at VitaTree Nutritional. So that is coming up. So stay tuned for that. Thank you, Carrot. Yes, I like to see. And Pasky, Annabelle's got some apple emojis. Lanta 2178, nice to have you here. Everybody loves apples. I love apples. It's one of my most favorite fruits. And Diva Organic, I know you love your apples as well. Bazib is here. Nice to have you here. 33 Geckos. Yeah, love them apples. Okay, let's talk a little bit about some anti-aging tips. And these are the ones that your dermatologist, I guarantee, will never ever tell you. I've got 7 tips that we're going to go through. The first one is one of the things that you may be able to tell that is probably my favorite, is number 1, having safe sun exposure actually helps with anti-aging. And this is what the research shows, and this is really interesting. The more of that red light that you get from the sun, and of course the sun goes through different frequencies of wavelengths throughout the day. In the morning you're getting a lot of red light. At the end of the day, when the sun is setting, you're getting a lot of red light. The UV, which yes, can be more damaging to the skin if you're not doing it in the right dosages in the middle of the day, this is what doctors and dermatologists will often link to skin diseases, but the actual opposite is what the research actually shows in terms of being preventative and protective for your vitamin D levels, but for the full spectrum of that, especially that red light, it helps to build your collagen. So if you do safe sun exposure in the right way, you're actually going to help your collagen levels, and that's one of the reasons why your red light therapy is all the rage these days, because it actually has been proven to build that collagen in your skin. Now, I will be talking about fat loss as well. We're going to be talking about burning some of that subcutaneous fat. Yes, we are, and something free that you can do every single day to help to burn that fat. That is coming up with the research that has been proven for this method. So that's coming up, so stay tuned for that. Now, let's go to tip number 2, of course, is to fix your leptin resistance. Now, this is important because when you've got a lot of inflammation in your body, you know, unfortunately, that this can be linked to that leptin resistance and insulin resistance as well. We know that sugar ages you more quickly. This is something that by fixing your leptin resistance, if you don't know what it is, please check out my other content. This is really important. Fixing that leptin resistance is going to be really important for that anti-aging benefit, okay? So that is something that you can learn more about. It's something that I usually touch upon in each of my shows, but finding that hormonal balance, fixing your leptin signaling, and your relationship with your circadian rhythms is going to be really important, okay? Number 3, another anti-aging tip, of course, proper hydration. So one of the things you can do if you haven't yet started doing this is to use Soleil water. So if you don't know what this is, I do have the recipe. Maybe we can call it up towards the end of the show, how to make your Soleil water, but it's salt. And salt, this particular salt, is loaded with minerals, and this actually helps to keep the hydration in your skin. So when you're lacking salt and your electrolytes, unfortunately, your body won't be able to hold on to the water that you are drinking. So this is really important to add into your lifestyle, of course, to help to plump up the skin from the inside out with that proper hydration, because now your minerals are holding on to that water. Okay, number 4 on my list is doing face yoga. I can't say enough about face yoga. Face yoga is fantastic for helping to build the musculature. We're going to be going into the beauty set towards the end of the show. You're going to love that because we're going to talk about something else as well, which is very helpful. But building that musculature, I'm going to show you all those muscles in the face, what you can actually build to help to lift the face and have an anti-aging effect. Okay, awesome to have you all here today. Please say hello. 1, 2, 3, thank you. And Marianne, 7, Monty, thank you for the follows. Hey, everybody hit that follow button. Make sure that you are followed, that you are subscribing, and all the love coming in. I appreciate. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will be, calling out our viewer spotlight for this week's, and I also will be mentioning last times winner, okay, from our previous episode of the quiz time, and who our winner was, and the fact that you will be receiving your prize, okay? So let's continue. Now, another thing that I love is, my tip number 5 is using, of course, the guasha. Love, love, love. I hope everybody has one of these. And if you don't have one, I've got a hack for this so I can show you when we get over to our guasha. So that's coming up soon. How to use this to actually open up the eyes, and great for crow's feet as well. We will be talking about this. So that is coming up. Who has a guasha? Put a 1 in the comments if anybody has their guasha at home and you love using your guasha. Amazing, amazing. Dolce Vita 49, thank you for the follow. And thank you, Rocket. Thank you for sharing today's live. Please share. Everybody hit that share button 10 times. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I love it when we have more and more people coming into the lives. It's so much fun. Okay, now I also have a lot more, very important information coming up about killing those parasites. Yes, we will be talking about my 9 famous tips to kill parasites, one of my most popular videos. That is coming up. Okay. As well as eat to nourish your skin, okay? So certain foods we know help to build that fatty layer in the skin, which is a good thing, helps to build your collagen. So I love avocado. Fruits, when they come into season, because of all those antioxidants, helps to counteract against that UV from the sun, which is amazing, which was my tip number 1. Doing that safe sun exposure is a great way to actually build your collagen and keep you looking younger, okay? Which is amazing. And number 7 on my list is whole food supplements. So of course I've got my favorites. Let's go through my list really quickly. One of them, of course, is collagen. So taking a grass-fed bovine collagen, amazing, amazing for building your skin and your own collagen. Number 2, I love MSM, as well as horsetail, L-lysine. So that combination is something that I take in combination, helps to plump up your skin, the glycosaminoglycans from your skin layer from the inside out. One of those glycosaminoglycans that you may have heard about is hyaluronic acid. A lot of people use it like a serum for hyaluronic acid, and you notice how it plumps up the skin. Well, you can do that from the inside out with this combination, and that horsetail actually helps to anchor in the hyaluronic acid with the water beneath the skin surface, which is amazing. Okay, number 3, I love fish oil. Of course, you got to get enough of that, especially that DHA for that proper skin barrier function. And number 4 is magnesium. Now, magnesium, amazing. It is a natural calcium channel blocker, helps to keep and plump up your skin cells, which is amazing, and counteracts from all of the electric lights that we've got, unfortunately. That blue light. Magnesium is very protective against all those EMFs and the damage that we have in that regard as well. Okay, so there's all of my favorite supplements for the skin. Let's go on over here. Guess what time it is? Oh my goodness, it's quiz question number 1 time. Okay, so everybody, if you're here for the first time, this is what we do. We have a few quiz questions throughout the show, and what you're gonna do is put your answer into the comments. This is what we're playing for. From our great sponsors at VitaTree Nutritionals, we thank them. We're playing for the hair, skin, and nails formula. You're gonna love this, amazing, amazing. And all you have to do is participate. You don't even have to answer the questions correctly. Usually the questions are based on what I talked about in the actual live show. That's why tuning in at 11 a.m. is important, so that you get all the information, you can answer the questions, and then it's so much fun, okay? And I will announce last time's winner. Are we ready? Here we go. Number 1. Quiz question number 1, true or false? Most apples in the grocery store are treated with bleach and wax. Okay, you got 30 seconds on the clock. I want to get your answers in now. This one's super easy. It's a true or false. You got 30 seconds. Get your answers in now. All right, 10 seconds left. I hope everybody's getting your answers in. I see a lot of good answers. I see some funny answers here too. All right, awesome. Everybody got their answers in? Yes, hit that share button. Make sure you're subscribed. All right, here we go. Yes, of course, the answer is true. So congratulations. Hey, if you're just tuning in now and you missed that first little segment, it's okay. You can always watch the show back. It's available on long short video, okay? So it never really disappears. Are we ready? Let's go on. Now let's announce last week's winner of the Vita Fish Oil. It was Helen Cunny. Hello and congratulations, Helen. Awesome job. Congratulations. Remember, everybody else, you still have a couple more opportunities to participate in the quiz for today's show. So congratulations. Now, make sure that you are following Team Dr. Janine though. So here's the thing, if you, on certain platforms, make sure that, and you may see Team Dr. Janine is answering some questions throughout the show as well. That is my team behind the scenes. And make sure that you're following them so that they can reach out to you. So the worst thing is that you're actually our prize winner and we can't reach you because you're not following and we don't have your information. So make sure that you're following Team Dr. Janine as well as, of course, me. You got to follow me to be a participant. Okay, let's talk about scoliosis. Now, this is something true and dear to my heart. You know, as a young child, I was diagnosed with scoliosis. Is something that my mom noticed. So being, you know, a kid, and we had a pool in our backyard, and I was in my bathing suit, and for whatever reason, she was a physiotherapist. So for whatever reason, I guess she was always sort of like probably how I do with my kids as well. I'm like always sort of checking in on their health and make sure everything is good, right? But she saw me standing in my bathing suit, and she noticed that my spine was a little bit off. So, you know, to make a long story short, I went to see the top scoliosis doctor downtown Toronto, and had full spinal x-rays every year and was able to maintain, so I didn't have to have any surgical intervention. I actually have a double curve, and I know a lot of you who either know somebody who has scoliosis or you've got it yourself. It's very common to have a double curve. And scoliosis, basically, for people who don't know, it's when the curvature of the spine is not straight. So it should be straight. If there's any type of curvature, and mine's actually a double one that kind of goes like this, but with my own help now and all of the things and the tips that I've learned over time, I've been able to manage it very, very well. I never had to have surgery, didn't have to do, you know, any major or dramatic type of, you know, intervention, which thankfully, and that's why I like to share my tips and the things that have really helped me and things that I've learned, you know, from mainstream medicine and the, you know, top scoliosis doctor downtown Toronto back, you know, when I was a child, but also, you know, what I've learned as being a naturopathic doctor, and of course all of the research that I do for scoliosis, and, you know, of course everything else as well. We will be talking about parasites. So I know a lot of people are holding to talk about parasites and my parasite cleansing protocol tips. That is coming up, I promise, but let's go through some things that are really, really super helpful and things that I've been able to help a lot of my patients with as well, with scoliosis and chronic back issues. So even if you don't have, you know, a curved spine, even if you've got severe back issues, or you know somebody who has back issues, a lot of back pain, these tips will really, really help you and have helped so many of my patients over the years. Okay, number one, functional movement. Now this is one of the newest things on my protocol list. And this is after, of course, interviewing the sort of godfather of natural movement. If you have not yet seen that episode, that podcast, you haven't listened to it yet, with Erwan Lacour, and father of natural movement. So doing natural movement, so MoveNat is what he teaches, natural movements and moving in nature. Amazing, amazing protocol, and it's something that I've signed up now for his entire, and I'm telling you, I thought I was strong and I was working out well until I started doing some of these natural movements. Mind-blowing. And you see these changes in your body so quickly and so effectively, but it's a functional movement. So how we used to move as kids is something that I want to get back to, because for me that's longevity, but that is also helping with my back, which is amazing. So I want you to check it out. You can check out, of course, that episode if you haven't yet seen it, but functional movement is amazing, amazing. Okay, so it's a different type of exercise. It's not lifting the weights in the gym. It's getting out into nature, doing crawling and flipping yourself over, jumping, running, climbing trees and things. I'm not there yet. Moving and lifting heavy things, you know, boulders and things. I'm not there yet, but it is amazing. And just learning balance and counteracting some of the things that we do from sitting in a chair all day, super important, especially for your back, okay? So I want you to check that out. Number two, of course, is yoga. Love my yoga and stretching out those muscles, but doing it in a strong way is amazing. Plus, I love the aspect, depending on the type of yoga that you choose, helps to relax the mind. So that's really anti-inflammatory, important for the cortisol levels and balancing that out. So yoga is amazing. Okay, number three, this is what I learned. And I happened to be a competitive swimmer when I was a kid. So this is interesting because that is something that I definitely pursued more, learning from my scoliosis doctor at the time, who again was the top surgeon for scoliosis, and thankfully I never had to go down that route, but he always said that swimming is one of the best things that you can do for scoliosis and for back issues, because you've got the buoyancy of the water, but you're also strengthening and lengthening at the same time. Swimming is amazing, okay? Number 4 on the list, of course, is your sleep position. So this is really important. Anybody who's had babies before, you know that, getting comfortable for your back during pregnancy, but this is something that I carried on after pregnancy as well, was to use pillows to your advantage. So between your legs, between your knees, really helpful. You can back up if you sleep on your side. Just using pillows, and there's a lot of different videos, some of which I've actually shared in my videos before, in terms of being able to position your pillows to really help with getting in that proper sleep position to keep your spine as straight as possible when you're sleeping. Super important. Okay, number 5 is your sitting position as well makes a difference. So actually sitting at the right, and this is something that's really interesting in, our youngest son now doing piano lessons. It was all about, the first lesson was all about sitting properly when you're at the piano. And I didn't ever think of that because, it's been a while since I've taken any type of, lesson. So this was interesting that, yes, that position and sitting nice and tall with a tall, straight spine, really important. Make sure that, what do we do on our phones, right? We're like this, and we've got that tech neck. That's not going to be helpful for your back. For if you've got scoliosis, if you've got a lot of back pain, that's really important. So sitting position is important, but also try not to cross your legs. So crossing your legs is going to put undue pressures and stresses on the hips and on the low back. That's going to be a problem, okay? So sitting position is very important. Number 6 on my list, emotional traumas. So did you know that emotional traumas can often affect the hips? And it can cause things to go awry. So if we come over to Ricky really quickly, yes, our models have names. This is Ricky, if you haven't met Ricky yet. Okay, so what happens with the hips is that this can cause an imbalance in the hip position when you've got an emotional trauma. And now, of course, you can see what happens to the spine. If the hips go awry, the spine starts to curve. So this is something that's really important as well, is to sort of do some kind of work. I don't know what it is for you, what kind of emotional traumas that you may be holding on to, but being able to release those in a happy and healthy way is going to go a long way to help with your scoliosis. And some tips. Okay, nice to see you. Thank you for everybody tuning in. Miranda, thank you for the follow. Kitty Kate, thank you for sharing today's live. I know a bunch of you, Duddy Bandit, thank you for sharing. Thank you so much. It's so great to have you all here. Okay, let's continue now. Another tip for your back for scoliosis, of course, grounding, taking your shoes off, getting outside on the ground. Very, very important. Number 8, which can go along with grounding. I love, of course, natural sunlight exposure. It's very anti-inflammatory and helps with your proper connection with your circadian rhythms, with the earth and the environment. And that is telling your signal now to the body that you're in a safe place. That's really, really important for overall health, as we know, but important for scoliosis as well. And of course, number 9, can talk about, decreasing that inflammation without talking about leptin resistance, fixing your leptin signaling, which ties into number 7 and 8, that grounding and natural sunlight exposure. Really important that you have that proper connection. All right, are we good? Okay, I hope those tips help you. I hope that you're able to screenshot that. Shannon, your daughter has scoliosis. Well, I hope that these tips will really help you. I hope that you're able to screenshot that so that you've got it. And if not, you can reference the show back again. Just searching up my name on social media, you'll be able to find the show, go through the list. And that is something that is so important. And I will answer some questions at the end of today's live. We also have our Q&A. So I'll be back tomorrow and we'll do a bit of a Q&A at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll show you that slide in a second. But now guess where we're going? We're going on into the kitchen and we are mixing up our tick and bug repellent. So yes, tick season, depending on where you live, is upon us. And everybody getting out into, hopefully, nature. Part of that, we've got to be a little bit more vigilant, of course, with protecting ourselves. And some seasons are worse than others. Last year happened to be really bad with ticks, especially in the region of Canada where I live, but in different parts of the world. And we know that, of course, ticks can carry diseases, and this is why being protective and preventative is super important. But of course, doing it naturally, because of course, I don't like those sprays that are chemically based, and they can have very serious serious, nervous system consequences. So that's something that we don't want to do. But making your own natural tick and bug repellent spray, great for the mosquitoes as well, is going to be amazing for you. And this is something that has been amazing for my family. Love it, use it on the kids, for myself, and you are going to love it as well. So let's mix it up. And this is what it looks like. You're just going to get in a little spray bottle to mix it up. I prefer glass, so if you can get a glass one, but plastic is great if you're traveling with this as well. And we will be going to the beauty set, so if you're just tuning in, yes, we will be talking about our face massage and using the guasha for our eye region, so that is coming up. Okay, so this is the best combination. Now, citronella essential oil has now been deemed by the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, as a certified bug repellent. Okay, so this is naturally occurring. It's an essential oil. You can purchase it online in the health food store. Amazing. And if you've ever smelled citronella, if you have the candles and things that you can, or the torches that have that smell, amazing for repelling not only mosquitoes, but great for the ticks as well, okay? So we're gonna be using different essential oils. Another one, of course, is fantastic eucalyptus, peppermint. The bugs do not like peppermint. Neither do raccoons and birds, okay? Just saying. That might be another episode and squirrels, they don't like the peppermint. I have a bit of experience with those, so that may be another show. We'll talk about, my raccoon story. Okay, and lavender is also great, which is amazing. And there are a number of other ones that are fantastic. Lemon is also great. And what we're mixing it with is witch hazel. Now, witch hazel is a natural ingredient, and of course it's an astringent, so great as a toner for your skin, has an antiseptic effect. And all we're doing is, and I'm gonna show you that recipe card, but we're gonna mix into a little container our witch hazel, and we're just gonna add our essential oil drops. So I'm gonna do 10 drops, and this can vary, but I do want you to use the citronella for sure. 10 drops of our citronella essential oil. 8, 9, 10. Okay, there we go. And then we're going to mix up. Today I'm going to use the eucalyptus 10 drops as well. And you're doing this in 50 mLs of your witch hazel. This one's a little bit faster. Okay, 8, 9, 10. And today, what else? I'll do the peppermint. I love the peppermint as well, just because it gives 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and that's it. And if you smell this, because it has the peppermint mixed in, so not everybody loves citronella, but when you mix in the peppermint, it has such a beautiful smell. And then all basically that I've done is I've used, you don't have to do this, but you could pour it into, or you can mix directly into your spray bottle, but then pour the mixture with your little funnel into your spray bottle, and then there you have it. And you just spritz this on the skin, and that's it. And especially around the legs, the ankles, amazing, amazing for those ticks and bugs. And you can reapply it. Make sure you travel with this. I can't tell you how many times I've forgotten to bring this. And on a recent trip, just got back a few days ago, there happened to be one mosquito in our room. And of course, in the middle of the night, it bit me. Yes, of course it did. Of course, there was one mosquito. So this is something that I wish I had it with me. I forgot it and I didn't have it with me. But yes, you definitely want to repel those bugs. So this is great for the ticks, but great for the mosquitoes as well. Okay, let's take a look at the recipe really quickly. So you're just mixing in, yes, please use the citronella in your mixture, the essential oil of citronella, but also 10 drops of peppermint. Lemon is an alternative here, 10 drops of eucalyptus. Lavender is another alternative that you can use, and 50 mLs of the witch hazel. You're gonna mix those all together, put it in a, and if you're traveling with carry-ons, you're gonna use a bottle, of course, that's less than 100 mLs, but this is amazing, and keep it with you. Reapply as you need it, but you will love this, all right? Okay, there you go. You've got it, my natural bug spray. And we can come back to that recipe if you missed it. Okay, let's talk about our viewer spotlight, and this is from, who is this from? Vandu5. Thank you so much. We love your show. Always look forward to seeing you every day, and you're very informative. Thank you so much. So that was from Vandu5. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Vandu5. Thank you so much for sharing that great viewer spotlight. And you may be our viewer spotlight for next week's show. So continue to share all the love and all that great information that you like to share. Okay, let's talk about now parasites and candida. So should we go through the list really quickly? of some of the things that could be plaguing you. So whether it is the roundworms, very commonly an intestinal parasite, hookworms. And why is it called the hookworm? Well, it literally hooks onto your intestinal wall and it can rob you of your iron levels. So this is very, very commonly found in humans, the tapeworm. And it has that suction cup head, it sucks onto the intestinal wall. It's called a tapeworm because it looks like a tape segment if you look at that. And each segment can lay up to 1,000 eggs at once in your intestines. So crazy stuff. Okay, flukes, very commonly in the liver. They can be in the lungs as well. Protozoa cause diarrhea. This is very common if you travel, but even here, you know, in North America, very commonly found in our drinking water. It bypasses the chlorination process and is something that we have to be aware of. Candida as well. So all of my tips, the 9 tips that I'm going to share right now, are for parasites, but for that candida as well. And we will be talking about that fat loss tip. It is coming up, so stay around for that. Okay, number 1 tip for parasites and candida, I've got 9 of them, is to decrease your exposure. Okay, so here's one of the things with parasites. Can you really decrease your exposure? Well, it depends. So if you love to eat your sushi, if you love to eat your meat that's a little bit less cooked, especially if you're going through a protocol and you're trying to kill some of these things off, you want to maybe decrease your exposure as you're doing, you know, some of my protocol to actually give your body a chance so that you're not always plaguing yourself with all of these parasites. So that would be one of my tips, decrease your exposure. So maybe lay off the sushi just for a little bit. I'm not saying that you can ever, you know, not have sushi again, but maybe just decrease your exposure a little bit. Okay, now tip number 2 is eat in a relaxed setting. So your microbiome, so when we talk about our gut, maybe I'll have you take these apples away for a second. We did talk about fake apples at the beginning of the show, so if you missed that, you can watch the episode back again. We can come back to that. But when we talk about parasites and having that healthy gut microbiome, it's so important that we don't want to have this happening. And having enough of our good guys in our gut is what's really important. That's our probiotics. And eating in a relaxed setting, again, is telling your body the natural signals that you're in not a scary state, that you're not in a panic mode, okay? And that's really important for your gut microbiome. Not to mention that your gut microbiome actually reacts to the light of the day. And your gut microbiome actually gives off light. So this is important because if you're not eating, if you're always eating under artificial lights, that's going to have an effect on your microbiome. It's not going to be so healthy for you. Okay, so eat in a relaxed setting. Ideally outside, if you can eat outside, is going to be much healthier for your gut, especially if you've got parasites and a candida issue. Okay, number 3 is take some digestive enzymes. So digestive enzymes help to actually break down your food so that you're actually breaking down your food, and that's going to help your probiotics to convert your food into and be able to absorb your proper nutrients in your gut. You don't want to, and enzymes can actually help to kill off some of these bad guys, some of these parasites as well, okay? So digestive enzymes are important. Okay, number 4 on the list is herbal medicines. There are specific herbal medicines that I love. Cabo, if you've heard me talk about Cabo before, let's take a look at them quickly, very quickly. My favorite ones, so cloves, artemisia, black walnut, and oregano. This is Cabo. These are my favorite herbal medicines that I use as part of a parasite cleansing protocol. I've done this with my patients for years. Amazing, amazing. And actually, here in Canada, like thousands of people know and do my protocol for parasites. Absolutely phenomenal. Some of the stories that I could tell you, and maybe we'll do just one show one day about all the stories and talking about parasites. I don't know, would you like that? Put in one in the comments if you want to hear more about parasites and people's actual personal stories about how my protocol has helped them. It's something. Yes, Chantel wants to hear about that. Okay, we will do that. Maybe, I'm not sure, maybe in a couple of weeks we'll do, and we'll go through some of the reviews. A lot of people want to hear about the parasites. I know, it's gross. I mean, sometimes when I show these on television, people are like, oh, and even the crew where I go on television, they're like, oh, I don't want to watch, but you're kind of like, yes, I want to learn more. I want to learn more because I always say it's better out than in. Better that you know about these things and they're gone than, just kind of burying your head in the sand and saying, yeah, no, parasites aren't an issue for me, especially if you have a lot of gut issues, a lot of gas and bloating, and you're tired and you're sick all the time. This is why it's so important that we talk about these parasites. Okay, number 5, of course, is take fiber. Now, fiber is going to help to bind and eliminate those parasites, especially if they're hooked onto the intestinal wall. So like the tapeworm, it's got that suction cup, it sucks onto the intestinal wall. You want that fiber to be able to move things through as part of my protocol. Okay, number 6 is that full body detox. So did you know that candida can give off like 60 toxins? Yeah, oh yeah, so this is something that's important, and that's why a lot of people don't feel well when you do parasite cleansing in the wrong way. And I'm gonna go through sort of my protocols week by week, how I like to do parasite cleansing based on what, my experience with my patients over the years, how I got them both most success without that die-off, that is called the Herxheimer reaction, without that die-off reaction for the candida or the parasites, okay? So we will talk about that, but that full body detox is a big part of my protocol to get rid of that toxic load. And number 7, of course, is probiotics. So yes, coming over here, we got to put the good guys back in. We have to have enough of the good guys in there, because when those bad guys want to sort of get in, they can't. They're crowded out because you've got enough of the good guys, the probiotics. So that's one of the reasons how probiotics are so important. Okay, hit that share button. Thank you so much, Nadas. Lori Ann, thank you for the follow. Great to have you all here today. It's so nice to have so many new people here, and thank you for tuning in. I am Dr. Janine. If you're just tuning in right now and you're like, what is going on? What are we talking about? We're talking about 9 tips to get rid of parasites and candida. This is the Dr. Janine Show that you've tuned into today. And we do this, of course, we get together every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we do have some quiz questions coming up. We will be going to the beauty set as well, talking about guasha for the face, which is going to be amazing. Okay, so that's coming up. As well as number 8 is to use a functional protein powder. Now, this is important. When we talk about parasites, what they can do is they can open up the tight junctions in the gut, and now we've got that leaky gut syndrome. So specific ingredients in a good protein powder, and yeah, not all protein powders are created equal, but a good protein powder is going to help to seal up those tight junctions and be a functional protein powder, and that's really important. It's part of my protocol. Okay, and number 9, of course, is that mind-body connection. So here's the thing with parasites that I'm planting a seed. I want you to think about this. And this is where I always had a lot of success with my patients, because I would always take it a little step further in terms of evaluating, okay, why is my patient sick to begin with? Why? What caused that imbalance for the body to get out of balance? And it's that mind-body connection that's so important. And this is what I'm going to talk about when we talk about parasites and candida. So as much as you're treating your gut, oh my goodness, your gut, you've got the candida, you're craving the sugar all the time, maybe you've got the flukes, maybe you've got, constipation, diarrhea, you're bloated all the time, and maybe a white coating on the tongue with the parasites, with the candida. Well, the mind-body connection is parasitic personalities that may be around you, and how much do you allow for people who take from you, like parasites, to be a part of your life. I just want you to think about that, because that is often it's like that aha moment that a lot of my patients used to have when I would have this discussion with them, and it's like, oh yeah, I got to make some changes. So yes, you got to clean up the gut, you got to do the protocol, you got to, you take the herbal medicines, but you also have to think about that mind-body connection, about maybe making some changes in your life, okay? That mind-body connection with parasitic people in your environment. Does that make sense? Put a 2 in the comments, everybody, if that makes sense. And I hope somebody, at least one person, had an aha moment. You can put aha, yes, if that makes sense for you. Okay, awesome, awesome, awesome. We are at quiz question number 2 time. Is everybody yes? Okay, it's making sense. Brent, Kay, Yvonne, yes? Okay, awesome, awesome. I see some questions coming in, and for specific questions, let's pop that up really quickly. We will do the Q&A tomorrow, so at 1 p.m., right? Yes, my team? Yes. We are doing the Q&A, yes, tomorrow at 1 p.m. on Wednesdays. We have the Q&A live with me. If you do have questions that I'm not able to get to in today's show, then we will be doing those tomorrow, okay? So please make sure you tune in tomorrow. Let's go on to quiz question number 2. Hey, if you're here for the first time, we play games. We do quiz questions. I've got to pay attention throughout the show, but today we're playing for the hair, skin, and nails from our great sponsors at VitaTree Nutritionals, Whole Food Vitamins. We love them for allowing me to come and talk to you every week and making this show possible. Are we ready? Okay, here we go. I hope you're paying attention. Quiz question number 2, you're going to have 30 seconds. Which essential oil is classified as an insect repellent by the EPA? Okay, everybody get your answers in. You got 30 seconds on the clock. Let's go. Here we go. All right. All right. Have about 15 seconds left. I hope everybody was paying attention. Oh, wow. This is pretty impressive. And if you're just tuning in, just take a stab at it. Just take a guess. What do you think the EPA has deemed as a insect repellent? Okay, everybody got your answers in? Yes, most of you had it correct. Chantal 808, you are right. All right, yes, the answer was citronella. So that's something that we just mixed up. If you're just tuning in now, we mixed up my bug and tick repellent spray. We can't show you that recipe again, okay? So stay tuned for that. All right, so let's go over here just really quickly because I get a lot of questions on how, and you devise this parasite protocol. How does it work? We will be going to the beauty set in just a second for that facial massage for those eye wrinkles and easing that tension around the eyes. But let's go through my protocol really quickly. Okay, so it's on a week-to-week basis. Things are changing as this is going, but it's something that I can really answer in detail tomorrow. But I just want to sort of give you a quick peek at how this works. Okay, the first 2 weeks you do the parasite cleansing. So you take those herbal medicines, the Cabo, for the first 2 weeks. You got to have a strong kill phase. You want to kill off that candida. You got to kill off those parasites, okay? They don't like those herbs. But the good thing is that the herbal medicines are really easy and gentle on your digestive tract, so that's the beauty, and that's why, I have so much success with my protocol is that these herbal medicines are fantastic because they're gentle on you, but the bugs don't like them, so you're getting rid of those parasites, okay? Here's the Cabo really quickly. That's your first 2 weeks. Now, in your week 3 and 4, that's when you go to the full body detox. Now remember that full body detox is important because of the toxins that are given off by the bugs themselves, by the candida and those parasites. So that's important. Okay, and then number 5 and 6, you go back to doing the parasite cleanse. So you go back to the Cabo herbal medicines, but now you're continuing with those detox herbs to deal with that detoxification. And this is the beauty. This is where the magic happens. Usually around, week 5, you're like, oh, I get this now. I understand because your tummy gets flatter again. Maybe you've lost some weight because you had the parasites. Your digestion gets better. Your gut health in general. The headaches go away. Your energy is through the roof. I mean, you just start to feel around week 5. And some people it's a lot sooner. Around week 5, I'm telling you, you got to get there. Amazing, amazing. You will feel amazing. You'll be like, why? And this is what so many of my patients have said. Why did I wait so long to do a parasite cleanse? I don't know. Okay, so this is the great thing. And then, of course, continuing on week 7 to 10, depending on how long you're continuing, this is when, again, you're continuing with detox, but you're also supporting. So we have supporting, nutrients that we do in this process, the fiber that we talked about, of course, the probiotics, putting those good guys back in, digestive enzymes further help to kill off those parasites. Again, that functional protein powder to heal up. And everybody's, of course, situation is going to be different with the leaky gut syndrome, but helping to, with the functional protein powder to seal up those tight junctions in the gut, that is part of the protocol. So I hope that makes sense to you. Love it, love it, love it. If you have very specific questions, we can talk about some of those tomorrow. But let's talk about really quickly my super fans. So I do want to say a great shout out and thank you to all my super fans. You guys are the best. I see all those hearts are coming through the entire time when I'm live here, and of course between shows and on all of my content, just all the great comments. I mean, really, we have a great community here at the Dr. Janine Show and on all of my channels. Fantastic people. My fans are the best. You're very generous as well, and you make donations throughout the shows. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I truly thank you, and that's how I can come back and speak to everybody every week and continue to do all my research is from all of your support. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Awesome to have you all here. Thank you for tuning in. And yes, I hope I see my team. So if you see comments from either myself or Team Dr. Jane, and of course my team behind the scenes is helping to answer your questions throughout the show, which is amazing. Okay, let's talk about fat loss. Oh yes, let's talk about fat loss. I'm going to run over here because I see not my fat, but the fat, Mr. Fat. is across the studio here, of course, and this is just 5 pounds of fat. So if you've gained or lost 5 pounds of fat, it is a significant amount of fat. Let's talk about, that subcutaneous fat and what the research shows. There's one thing that you can do, which is free, available to everyone, that actually helps to melt that fat away. And do you know what it is? Yeah, and here's the research. Subcutaneous white adipocytes express a light-sensitive signaling pathway, okay? And daily exposure of our fat cells to blue light. Now, I'm not talking about artificial blue light. I'm talking about blue light from the sun, okay? It actually burns fat. Yes, it does. That's what the research shows. And this is actually a Canadian researcher, and he was a researcher. Peter Light is his name, which I find is like so ironic, the fact that he studies light. And he was actually doing a lot of research on diabetes, and they were, looking at lipolysis, so breaking down of fat from natural light exposure. Yeah, sunlight. So what do? I want you to get out into the sun, and we circle back to this a lot, but getting more natural sunlight. It is not what you've been told in terms of the sun is dangerous. When I was away, I was overhearing conversations. There was one woman who was sitting poolside, and I was facing the sun, getting my son, of course, poolside, like loving it, just soaking it all in, of course, without sunscreen and without sunglasses, so no bueno, okay? Don't use the sunglasses because you'll burn more easily. And it took everything for me not to flip around and take a look at her, because I knew, number one, she was going to be pasty white. Number two, she had her sunglasses on. But anyways, she's having this whole conversation about how her daughter was a nurse, and she wears 80 sunblock and blah blah blah, and going on and on. It took everything for me just to keep it sipped. Dr. Janine, no, you're not going to enlighten this person. But yeah, this is not. We've been led to believe that the sun is the most toxic, evil thing, when the complete opposite is the truth, okay? So this is very, very important for you to learn. I've got, other videos all about natural sunlight exposure and why it's so important for our health, but this is important, okay? Now, we do have our final quiz question coming up in just a second, but remember, you want to blast away some extra fat. It's free to everyone. Just get out in the sun, okay? Just get out in the sun. Do it in a safe way, and there is a way to naturally build up, your solar protection on your own skin. You want to blast away that fat, you're going to get out into the sun, okay? And you've got to not use sunscreen, and you actually have to expose your skin, okay? So you've got to expose as much of your skin as possible to the natural sunlight to blast away that fat. All right, we're going to the beauty set. Woohoo! Are we ready? Let's talk about the guasha. I hope everybody's got a guasha. I know I asked the question a little bit ago, how many people have their guasha and they absolutely love it? Well, let's talk about going around the eye area. And I've got a hack for you. If you don't yet have a guasha, you can get one, but you don't need to. If you can't afford one or for whatever reason, most people have a spoon, okay, in their home, and you can use a spoon carefully in the same way that you would use a guasha, okay? So here's the thing, and maybe I'll use both today. Let's take a look at the musculature around the eye. So here you can see, especially the corrugator muscle and the orbicularis oculi around the eyes. There can be a lot of tension buildup in these muscles. And this is going to, and even in the frontalis muscle, which of course goes from your forehead all the way back to your occiput, this tension here is going to cause a lot of issues here around the eyes in terms of drooping eyes. If you are a side sleeper as well, I'm going to help with the crow's feet here. We're going to talk about a special thing that you can do with the guasha for that in this area for side sleepers. But let's work on the corrugator and the orbicularis oculi, okay? So you're going to use your guasha or you're going to use your spoon, and you're going to get right in here. So I've got my mirror here. And you're going to sort of pull up and just stabilize your eyebrow with your opposite hand and use your spoon or your guasha. And you're going to go right into the inner corner of and just below your eyebrow and just do gentle motions. And when you hit the spot, like if you've ever had acupuncture done before, and when they hit the spot, that you can like feel like, woo, okay, that's the spot right there. You're gonna find that tension in that particular spot, and you're just gonna stay there and sort of work out that tension. And this will really help, especially if you're prone to headaches and things and tiredness in your eyes, if you're prone to as well having dry eyes, this helps to nourish the eyes, but you're just gonna go in there with your spoon. Of course, if you're tuning in, you're like, what is she doing? Okay, with the guasha as well. I'm just giving you an opportunity if you don't have the guasha yet at home, and you go in with one of the points of the guasha into that inner eye region, okay? You can even do this with your fingers at home right now. So if you don't have your guasha handy, I want everybody to do this. So hold your opposite eye with your opposite hand. So this is my left eye, my right hand, just stabilizing sort of my eyebrow region and going in there. And if you feel that tension, I mean, this is actually really nourishing for your eyesight as well. You can close your eyes and just get right in there. You can do it with your fingers as well. Okay, everybody's got that? Okay, awesome. Now the other one, if you're a side sleeper like I am, you can tend to get more sort of definition wrinkles on one side than the other side that you don't sleep on as often. So what you're going to do in this regard is you're going to stabilize that area. So you're sort of spreading out where you may have some wrinkles, some crow's feet. You're going to sort of spread it out with your fingers like this. Again, opposite side. And just gently go in with your guasha. And of course, I have my makeup and everything on right now, but typically I would go in, and I love my guasha just before bed. So I either use a coconut oil or, of course, my castor oil, which I love because the castor oil is sticky and it stays. There's a staying power with the castor oil, which I actually prefer at bedtime because it nourishes your skin all through the night and is very anti-inflammatory, as we know, helps with the blood circulation, helps with your collagen. So just going in with your guasha, so you're spreading out the skin. If you do have some fine lines or wrinkles here, and you're just going in with your guasha. Now, of course, you could do this if you don't have your guasha yet. Do the same thing, put a bit of moisture, and just go in with your spoon. All right, don't use a fork, and don't use a knife. Use a spoon, okay? There you go. All right, so amazing, amazing. And again, you're gonna help to relax. So when your muscles are tense, it's not a good thing, okay? In terms of your facial muscles, when they're tense, this is when you're gonna get more wrinkling. So you wanna relax those muscles, let everything snap back to its original position. When your muscles are tense, then that's when things get all squished up and you see more of the peaks and valleys, the fine lines and wrinkles. You wanna relax, extend those muscles, and everything sort of smooths out again, okay? Amazing, and do that at bedtime. You will absolutely love that with the guasha, okay? I hope everybody's loving that. Thank you, Selma Didi222, for all the love. Love the fact that you are here and tuning in today. Amazing, amazing. Diana has recommended some exercises for hollow eyes. Yes, I do have exercises for that. Shannon, no, I do not like that. You know what I'm talking about. Ends and talks. No. Don't like it, okay? So I will talk about hollow eyes. Maybe we can make a note, my team behind the scenes, and I can address that in a future episode. Maybe even next week we can talk about the hollows underneath the eyes. I've got some hacks for that. Okay, are we ready? Quiz question number 3. All right, this is a true or false. This should be easy. You got 30 seconds on the clock. Safe sun exposure shrinks fat cells. We talked about it a few moments ago. Shrinking fat cells. Okay, everybody get your answers in. You got 30 seconds on the clock. Here we go. All right. Okay, everybody get your answers in. Good job. All right, 15 seconds left. And everybody's getting their answers in. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, yes, everybody got their answers in? Okay, let's reveal. Of course, the answer is true. Yes, we talked all about that and the research. There is some research actually to back that up, which is amazing. So get your skin out there in the sun as much as possible. Amazing. Amazing in terms of helping with body composition. Now, don't forget that tomorrow we have our Q&A at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And of course, on Wednesdays, that's what we do. Use hashtag #AskDrJanine. And if you're just tuning in, we are talking and have talked today about fake apples and the problem with apples, anti-aging tips that I shared, also scoliosis. So if you missed that, I shared my tips for scoliosis and back pain. So here's the thing that, you know, there are definitely natural things that you can do and things that have supported and helped myself with scoliosis, but a lot of my patients over the years as well, in terms of getting a nice and healthy spine, okay? And even with back pain, if you have chronic back pain, those tips are something that we shared today. I also made my bug repellent spray. So I think, let's pull this up really quickly again. The recipe for bugs, ticks, mosquitoes as a natural repellent that works amazing. I'm telling you how amazing this is. I use it for all my kids, my family, amazing, okay? So 10 drops of citronella, which the EPA is now deemed as an actual bug repellent, 10 drops of peppermint, 10 drops of eucalyptus, and 50 mLs of that witch hazel. You're gonna mix that up, put it into a little spray bottle, which is amazing, smells amazing, and just spray that on your skin as your natural bug repellent. There's not gonna be any bugs in here today. There we go. And I put it on my skin, on my clothes, especially around your ankles as well, especially if you're out in the woods, you gotta do around the ankles, cover up in terms of tick prevention and bites. And I usually just sort of rub it in a little bit, of course, around the neck and on your face, so you don't get bitten on your face like I did when I was away by that one mosquito. And this is amazing. Okay, and the Soleil water, we also have, so what we talked about earlier was the Soleil water. So this is the sea salt from Utah. This is the one that I make. Can I have the Soleil water really quickly? And I'm going to show you in a liter of water. And remember, this is one of the tips for proper hydration, is to make sure that you're actually hydrating your cells properly. So you can mix this up, and then you're going to use just a bit of this. So a half a teaspoon of this into your drinking water every time that you drink to help to properly hydrate yourself from the inside out. And then a lot of people drink water, but you're not hydrated. And that's because you're lacking in those electrolytes. And that's why I love the Soleil water. It's a game changer, especially if you're prone to headaches, if you have, issues with electrolytes, cramping and things, that is going to make such a difference for you. Where do you get the essential oils? Snookums, either online at the health food store. They're pretty easy to find. Online, most online places you can get them very easily. Thank you, Tina Magic, for shelling. Can the bug repellent be for animals as well? It depends on the animal. Always check with your vet to be sure, but possibly yes. Now, some essential oils for pets, depending on the pet, is, so I don't want to blanket statement say that it is okay, but some essential oils are actually very good and helpful. Oh, the Parasite protocol, yes. Okay, let's show that again. And I will be coming back and talking about this very specifically tomorrow. So please tune in at 1 p.m. tomorrow, Eastern Standard Time, and I'll go through very specifically the Parasite cleansing protocol. So starting with the Parasite cleanse, the herbal medicine, for the first 2 weeks, that strong kill phase, then you're going in with your detox in week 3 and 4, then you're coming back to cleansing with those parasites again. At week 5, remember that's when I said the magic happens at week 5 for most people. And this is my experience with my patients over the years. Around week 5, you're all in, you're getting rid of those toxins, the parasites, your gut health comes back. And I've actually been able to help patients who had like serious gut health issues, like diagnosable diseases, that their GI specialists, they couldn't hack it, they couldn't penetrate. And even with medications, with invasive procedures and things, couldn't get at it, but my protocol has helped so many. And that's just what I want to say, is that, when you find doing the right thing in a natural way, your body supports that because you're in line with nature. Your body will support that process in a healthy way, and that's how you can get better. And remember that mind-body connection that we talked about as well. I can talk a little bit more about that. And I know that a lot of you, there's actually a request that we talk about some of, some actual real life stories about parasites and what people have experienced in doing my protocol. So that will be coming up in a future episode. So make sure you are subscribed and that you tune in every week, of course, on Tuesdays. Still no headaches. So we had a viewer who has, Linda, thank you for sharing. Okay, so here's a great example. Linda, who has been following me for a little while now, since September has not had any headaches from drinking the Soleil water that I shared on the show. So thank you, Linda, for sharing your story. That is music to my ears. I'm so happy. And there's so many more of you out there. Of course, please continue to share your stories. And, put it in the comments when I come live to air. It is amazing. Mary, what we're talking about was the Soleil water. So it's a salt mixture solution that we have that recipe. Come back tomorrow at 1 p.m. and I'll do some, and I know Mia has some questions about it as well. And I'll answer very specifically how to mix that that up and why that's so important to help. So thank you, Linda. No more headaches. Yay! Right? So simple. But at the same time, you took the time, Linda, like everybody else. You took a bit of time, a chunk of time in your day to tune in and to learn something from me, which I'm very grateful for that. Love for the fact that you actually followed through. And I know that that's why you love my recipes like the bug spray. I hope that you're going to mix that up in the next couple of weeks so that you can use it yourself for your kids, for yourself, so that you are protecting yourself against the mosquitoes, the tick-borne illnesses, and all those things in terms of the ticks that are out there. So thank you everybody who tuned in today. It was so great to see you. I'll see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will do the Q&A. I'll answer all of your questions. I'm sorry if I didn't get to you today. It was so great to have you all here. Yes, Soleil water. It's something that we will talk about tomorrow. Thank you so much, Sarah. It was great to have you. Thank you for all my new followers who are here as well. Check out all of my content. I've got so much out there. And make sure you're commenting, liking, and doing all those fun things. Okay? We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.